this area here is where we keep all the commodities and feedstuffs that we use to feed our cows with. We have our hay commodities right here. We have brought the hay bales over from our storage area and we set them here on the cement, take off the hay strings, and then we have it all ready to be able to put into our mixer wagon box and feed the cows both morning and afternoon. Okay, over here is a pile of cottonseed. Cottonseed is farmers have taken the cotton off of the seed and the seed is left. You can see part of it without the lint. It's black, but very digestible to a milk cow. And it's a good feed for cows in that it provides protein and a lot of fiber. So what would a farmer do with this cottonseed after they've taken off the cotton? Well, they'll use part of it to replant for next year, but there's so much more. So we feed it to a dairy cow. Another thing I'd like to show you is what's called a byproduct. And a good example of that is this right here. These are called almond hull and shell. So the farmer will grow the tree to harvest the almonds. Around the almonds are the shell, and the hull. This is the hull. So this is called a byproduct. We've taken the almond out and the farmer has sold those almonds. What's he gonna do with these hulls and shells? Well, we feed them to the dairy cow. It's a great source of fiber. What's really neat about the dairy cow being a ruminant is that it can ferment our byproduct, stuff that we would throw away, and the cow can convert it into a product that we can use, which is milk. All right, we have a pile of canola. Canola is a product grown in the northern part of the US and a lot in Canada, and it's a high protein source. So we'll feed this to the dairy cow to get our protein source. This is a pile of corn. Corn comes from the Midwest of California by rail. And so when it comes to the mill, they will steam the corn, make it hot so it'll roll. It's called rolled corn. They do that so the cow can digest the starch out of this corn. And starch is very important because that's what provides the energy for the cow to make all that delicious milk. All right, we're standing in front of this pink pile, a real dusty type of a pile. It's actually millings from milling wheat. We use the wheat for bread or whatever we need it for, and the filings or the millings come to the cow, which is a byproduct once again, and the cow can use the fiber and the starch out of this mill run to make milk.
Another one of my jobs here on the dairy is doing a lot of the computer work here. And the ones that I work with the most is really Feed Watch, which helps us to feed our cows in the different ways that they need to be fed. Let me show you. And so here you see our home screen for Feed Watch. And on this home screen, you see that we have a list of all the different pens that we have. And each one of these pens gets fed a very specific ration depending on the cow's stage in their lactation, or rather just their age. And you can see here we have a count of how many are just in each one of those pens, and then our target amount of feed that we want to give to each cow in each pen. So if you want to look at the first one here, we feed 62 pounds of dry matter per cow in that pen. And that pen will get fed 15,165 pounds in that day. It also can show us how much that costs us per head each day. If we go over to recipes, you'll see that we have a list of different mixes of ingredients or recipes that we feed to each pen. We're going to look at 3, 5, 6, which is 3 of our different pen numbers here. And you can see that there is a varying list of ingredients here and just how much of each ingredient gets mixed into that load. So for example, we have high alfalfa, which is alfalfa with a lot more nutrient in it. Low alfalfa, which obviously lower nutrient in it. We have our pre-mix, which is a different list of commodities that we mix together ahead of time, so that way we can be quicker at feeding our cows in the morning. And they get a little bit of corn, a little bit of soy plus, a little bit of Spectrum Fusion protein, and water. And that will all get mixed up in the truck and fed out to those 3 corresponding pens.
How do we know how much of these commodities to feed? Well, that's where we use a feed mixer wagon, and it sits on a pair of scales. So the nutritionist will tell us how many pounds of each ingredient to dump into this mixer wagon. It mixes it all up, and then when it's finally done, it'll pull around, the tractor will take it to the cows and feed the proper amounts.